Hey, what is up YouTube? This is Burner225 here. Not too long ago I showed you an Ancient Gear Link deck, and this is a different version of my Ancient Gear deck. It has some of the same cards, but this is a non-Ancient Gear Link deck. And eventually it will be updated with different cards to use for Fusion when I get the Ancient Gear Fusion monsters, like Ancient Gear Howitzer and Ancient Gear Chaos Giant. So I'll take you through this deck profile and I'll show you some of the same cards that I've used, and I'll also show you a side deck with some cards that I'll use to go up against different things in the current meta, and I'll also update that as well. And so let's get started with the deck profile. Sorry if the camera quality is a bit poor. Or if it's good to you, I'm not sure. It's just I'm using my phone for the recording, just like I did my previous deck profiles. Okay, so starting off, you'd want to use triple copy of Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. This card is so badass, in my honest opinion. Resides because it has a 3k body and a 3k defense, and when this card attacks, it can activate, your opponent can activate spells or traps till the end of the damage step, and after the damage step, you can use this card to destroy any spell or trap on the field, so it's good to use to get rid of problematic floodgates or problematic cards that could cause trouble to you. And it can destroy pendulums, and how we're in the new Link format now, that can actually be useful to get rid of pendulums, because now they're in the spell and trap zone. And when Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon is tributed by tributing an Ancient Gear monster, it can inflict piercing, and when it's tributed by tributing a gadget monster, it can make a second attack during the battle phase. So that's why you need to run 3 Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. And next up for the deck, gotta run triple copy of Ancient Gear Wyvern. Now, Ancient Gear Wyvern is your search card in the deck. Now, when this card is normal special summoned, you can add an Ancient Gear card from your deck to your hand, except Ancient Gear Wyvern, and after you use this effect, you can't set any spells or traps for the rest of this turn, so which is why you need to set your cards first before you summon this card and use its effect. I mean, like, sure, you can activate a field spell or continuous spell or spell in your hand, but if you're ever going to set cards, make sure you do that first before you use this card's effect. It also has a 1700 point body and a 1200 defense, so that's one thing. Actually, two things. Sorry. Next up, you'd want to play triple copy of Ancient Gear Gadget. Now, Ancient Gear Gadget is a must-have in your deck, because if you're afraid of monster effect, spell effect, or trap effect, you can declare that card type, and Ancient Gear Gadget prevents that from happening. And it counts as an Ancient Gear monster and a Gadget monster, so if you had Gear 10 on the field, you can easily attribute this card and Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon when gain both effects. Next up is my last Ancient Gear monster in the deck, the one copy of Ancient Gear Hydra. Now, Ancient Gear Hydra has a 2700 point body and a 1700 defense. I'd like to bring it down a little bit more so that you can try to read its effects, because I forgot the effects. Let me get the camera in focus. Okay, so it says at the end of damage step, when this card was to be summoned by tributing an Ancient Gear monster, battles an opponent's monster, so when it battles an opponent's monster, so in this case, other Ancient Gear monsters can use this card's effects, including him. So when he's distributed by tributing an Ancient Gear monster, and the monster is not destroyed by battle, it is banished instead. And when he's tributed by tributing a gadget monster, it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. And when it attacks, your opponent can activate any spells or traps till the end of damage step. or monster effects, so it has the same effects as Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. And next up in the deck, the last 3 monster cards that are going to save your ass. Triple copy of Battle Fader. Now, if someone's declaring direct attack on you and you had no monsters on the field and you had no other means to protect yourself, you gotta have Battle Fader. You gotta have Battle Fader in order to save yourself, in order to come up with a comeback. Now, next we're doing the spell lineup. Triple copy of Gear Town. Gear Town is the must-have in the deck, because with Gear Town, it costs 1 less tribute by, sorry, let me try to re-explain it out the words. So, with Gear Town, you could tribute summon Ancient Gear monsters for 1 less tribute, so both players can use this effect, and when it's destroyed, you could summon an Ancient Gear monster from your hand, deck, or grave. So basically, it's kind of like a Monster Reborn if you already had an Ancient Gear card in the grave. And that's pretty much it. I don't need to explain any more on that. Next up, double terraforming to search for Gear Town. Only reason why I run 2 is because I have other cards in the deck that are helpful to me. Now, I got some of these cards. I follow some of the deck profile from this YouTube channel called Team Samurai X1. I highly suggest that you go check him out because he has a lot of booster pack openings that you would enjoy watching. He also has a lot of deck profiles you would enjoy viewing. And you can follow up on that and use his deck profiles as a guide to build an Ancient Gear deck, which is what I did. So yeah, I highly recommend that you go check him out. You'd like him. Right, next up for spells, double copy of Ancient Gear Catapult. Ancient Gear Catapult is such a good card. You want to open with this card. Now, Team Samurai X1 runs 3, but I prefer to run 2 because I have other spells in my deck that do spell and trap destruction. But with Ancient Gear Catapult, when you use this card, you can only use this card if you have no monsters on the field. So here's what you would do. You would run Dark Hole, which is what I do for the deck. Now, when you play Dark Hole, then you would play Ancient Gear Catapult. You would pop Gear Town. Use the effect of Gear Town to summon the Ancient Gear monsters that you wanted the Ancient Gear monsters that you just destroyed from the graveyard. And with Ancient Gear Catapult, you could summon an Ancient Gear monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning condition, but in order to do this, you have to destroy a spell or trap, and that's where you destroy Gear Town. Because with this, you can summon the 2 monsters at once if you have Gear Town in your hand and Ancient Gear Catapult in your hand at turn 1. Or you have discarded Terraforming in your hand, then you would still be able to summon up to 2 monsters during your first turn. Next up for the deck, I play triple copy of Ancient Gear Fortress. Now, this card is also a must-have to use in the deck, because when an Ancient Gear monster is normal or special summoned, your opponent cannot target Ancient Gear monsters you control with card effects, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to the activation of Ancient Gear cards and effects. And with this card is destroyed in the spell and trap zone, you could special summon 1 Ancient Gear monster from your hand or graveyard. So I'll get to a little combo that you could do with this card. I'll get to that in a moment, and I'll show you why. Next up for my deck, for next 3 spells I use, triple copy of Twin Twister. Now, Twin Twister is an extremely broken card in my opinion. Because you see, let me show you a little bit of a combo. So, let me show you, say, if you had Gear Town in your hand, and Twin Twister, and Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon, and Ancient Gear Fortress and say if you had another card like another Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon or Ancient Gear Hydra, here's what you would do. Okay, so say if this was your starting hand, and you draw a card. It doesn't matter what card you draw. Here's what you would do. Activate Ancient Gear Fortress, and you activate Gear Town. Then you play Twin Twister. You discard a card from your hand, so you would discard Ancient Gear Hydra or an Ancient Gear Reactor Dragon. So say if you discard a Reactor Dragon, use the effect to pop. Sorry if you see the camera shaking a little bit. Try to stay it. Okay, and then you use the effect of Twin Twister after you discard the Reactor Dragon to destroy Ancient Gear Fortress and Gear Town and use it to pop both of these. The effect of Ancient Gear Fortress then kicks in, and you can special summon an Ancient Gear monster from your graveyard. So you can special summon the one you just discarded, either this one or this one. And then the effect of Gear Town kicks in, and you could summon the other from your hand. That is a small combo where you could summon up to 2 monsters at once. And with these cards, they can't activate spells or traps until you add a damage step. That is one small combo that you can do. Next up for spells in the deck, you'd run top copy of Dark Hole. Now, Dark Hole is only allowed at 2. Reason why is because it is a broken card, and it destroys all monsters on the field. But Raigeki is only limited to 1, but Dark Hole is at 2 because it destroys everything, not just one side. This is a good card to use against True Draco, or True Draco Zoo, or Zodiac, just pure Zodiac, Zodiac Pendulum, or any variation of True Draco or Zodiac. This card is deadly against all variations of those types. Next, your 1-ofs of the deck. Next up, your 2 1-ofs of the deck. 1 Soul Charge and 1 Limiter Removal. Limiter Removal, you will want to use this to push for game. And if you play Dark Hole to destroy all monsters on the field, you would play Soul Charge, bring back at least 3 monsters, have high enough attack power. You would take 3,000 damage, but that's okay. And you use Limiter Removal on your next turn to push for game. Now, next up, we're on to the traps. First up for traps, triple copy of Chaos Trap Hole. Now, this is the same card that I use in my Ancient Gear Link deck. Because, this is a similar deck, because this is a deck that will rely on fusions, not links. Both Chaos Trap Hole, you pay 2,000 life points to negate the summon of a light or dark monster. Now, this is a very deadly card against those types. Because some of the cards in the True Draco are light and dark. Some of them are. I know that for certain. And Chaos Trap Hole can banish those monsters. So, sure, you would try to pull off a combo with your True Draco monsters, but if one of them evolved using a light monster, like True Draco Masterpiece, this trap card could banish it, but you have to pay 2,000 life points. That's right, 2. You have to pay 2,000 life points in order to banish a monster. Sure, it's been a hefty price like Solemn Warning, but it's worth it. I might change it up a little bit. Next, triple copy of Fiendish Chain. Now, Fiendish Chain. This is also a good card to use for monster effect negation against anything in the current meta, in the current format. Fiendish Chain is a good card to use to prevent monsters from attacking you. And it can prevent monster effects as well. So, this is why I don't only work on effect monsters. Actually, you know what? Yeah. Next, you're one of the deck. Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare. Now, this is a Trap Hole card. And this is a very deadly Trap Hole card. Because when a monster that was special summoned this turn activates its effect on your opponent's side of the field, you negate the effect, and if you do, you destroy that card. Now that is a very, very nasty effect to use. And there are certain cards that can negate this, but this is a good card to use against any monster effect deck in the current meta, in the current format. And with Lynx, if they tried to use their effects would be negated when the monster is summoned if you tried to use its effects. Next, your 2 of the deck, double copy Mirror Force. Mirror Force is another good card to use for board wiping. Speaking of which, we'll get to the last card that we use for board wiping, which is Radiant Mirror Force. Now, with Mirror Force, when your monster attacks, destroys all attack position monsters on the field. Radiant Mirror Force can only work if your opponent has 3 or more. And with how people are using combos with their decks, they can get up to 3 monsters on the field. But with Lynx, it's currently slowing everything down. But still, there are people have found ways to get around it to still bring out like 3 Synchro or Xyz monsters. And I witnessed that myself because I was recently at a tournament and my Ancient Gear deck came in second. It was at this game shop that I went to, and I had a hell of a time, I'll say that right now. Alright, next up, I'll show you my side deck. The 1 copy of Mirror Force, I might take out the Radiant or the Chaos Trap Hole, and the 1 Hand Trap, the 1 Max C. And this is only I have 1 of right now, but I plan to get 2 more. So say if I had a proxy here, just imagine if I had a proxy. So I would have triple copy of Anti-Spell Fragrance, good card to use against Pendulums. Now Pendulums are going to get slowed down, but this would slow them down even more, so an Imperial Order. Speaking of which, I'm thinking of wanting to put Imperial Order in my deck. Well, only to use against Pendulums. Now here's another card I use in my side deck. Don't even know why I grabbed the cards. Right there. Now, in an Ancient Gear deck with the fusions, you would use the Ancient Gear Hunting Hound, or Power Bond, or Overload Fusion, or Cybernetic Fusion support. But I found a card that you can use with Ancient Gears that can help you fusion summon without using those types of cards, and it's a Pendulum monster. Perform a Pal Trump Witch. Now she's cute as hell, don't you think? Now let me zoom in a little bit more so you can get in on her Pendulum effect, and I'll also read it to you. It says, once per turn, you could fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion materials. Now, this is why I would use her for my Ancient Gear deck. And because of that 1 Pendulum effect, it is just plain bad ass. Helps you fusion summon without using polymerization, and you wouldn't need Ancient Gear Hunting Hound. Of course, I do plan to get Ancient Gear Hunting Hound for my main deck, but I would switch this out. I would switch out my one of my Battle Fader with Ancient Gear Hunting Hound, and I might take out the other 2 and put in Perform a Pal Trump Witch. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'll do. But until then, this is all I got that I'm running right now in my side deck. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. You can see that all my cards are strewn out. I had to move them somewhere. Let me get the camera to focus a little bit more. There we go. So I hope you guys enjoy my deck profile, and like I mentioned, the guy in my video earlier, Team Samurai X1, I recommend that you go check him out, and also go and check out Simo, and he has a lot of O's, so try to type in a fair few and his YouTube channel will pop up. Also check out Yugi Nono and Yugi Mation, Team APS. Those are all famous Yugi tubers. Check out Michael 40. He's also a famous Yugi tuber. I followed them. I subscribed to them. I got a lot of inspiration from some of them for deck profiles. Well, mainly right now I got Ancient Gear. I'm currently working on Monarch. When that's finished, I'll show you that deck profile. And then my next objective will be Dark Magician, and I'll eventually show that to you. So I hope you enjoyed, and this is Brony Nerd 225 signing out.